October the 13th, 2020, and you know why you're here. So let's kick this off, right? And introduce the players. Hey, I'm Gerissar, PvP Padawan.
Hey everyone, and I'm Andallyn, and I hope you can hear me, because we're going on take 2 right now for Technically PvP. Guys, we've got Christian Bishop here with us today, and if you heard us, hey, we're good. And if you heard our quick intro that we attempted at earlier, Christian is the CRO of Method, and we are excited to have him here today on the show to talk with us about what the Method Reboot is going to be, maybe dive a little bit deeper into some of the things that we haven't quite covered yet. And who knows, maybe if you share with us some of your questions, we'll feed them, your questions from the chat. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Gerissar, let's talk about what we've been up to the past 2 weeks, man.
Well, just before we do that, though, I want to talk to Christian and find out a little bit about him first, if that's okay.
Yeah, look, hey guys, Gerissar, thanks for having me. Andallyn, thanks for having me. What's up, chat? Glad to be here to answer some questions. We've been, look, I've been doing overall pretty well. It's a crazy year, 2020, for all of us, but personally, my family and I are safe here in Vegas and doing well, man. On the Method side of things, glad to make the official announcement for the rebuild. Been working really hard on that side to kind of make sure that we're doing the right things and moving forward appropriately.
I can imagine. Hey, how long have you been with Method exactly?
I joined in December, so I'm fairly new. Yeah, given the 15-year history, I'm new to the org.
But so what were you doing before then? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I was running an esports league. So I was actually commissioner of the WSOE. That's what got me out of Vegas, man.
Nice.
I'm from LA, so I was running a league. We had a studio in the middle of the strip for different esports events. And,
I love the WSOE.
Yeah, we did the classic event with Method. That's the first. That's where I really got to work with the guys, and I was like, look, I love this group, the players, the staff, and we had a conversation about coming over and joining them after that great event, the classic event.
Awesome. Well, and just you play World of Warcraft too, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been playing since vanilla.
Oh, nice.
Oh man.
Just curious, what's your favorite class and spec play?
Oh, I play Tauren Warrior. His actual name, his name is Tank.
Yes.
How original.
Yeah, but I played a mage in vanilla back in the day when everybody was pushing for rank 14. So had a fire mage back then. It's pretty fun.
I played the same thing in vanilla. Yep. Fire mage.
Nice.
That's right. Except I was a gnome. It wasn't the coolest thing, but it is what it is. Yeah.
I wish you told me you played Alliance before I agreed to come on this podcast.
Don't worry, we play Horde now. We play Horde.
Look, conveniently, you left that out. Yeah. That's
wow. Andallyn, you play more Horde.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Do we need to play the intro video again? Because I definitely saw Andallyn for the Horde in the intro video. I mean, I could be wrong here.
Yeah, but
okay.
I play that. I play Alliance.
Yeah.
That's
yes, let the record show that Andallyn is for the Horde and Gerissar is for the Alliance. Let's get that straight.
Fight you. I will fight you.
Wait, Gerissar is he Alliance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Human Warlock.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. No, it's not nice.
I like being able to have two trinkets and not have one be a medallion.
Okay.
To each their own.
Nice.
Yeah.
To each their own. So another really fun fact that for everyone listening, Christian also here. So Christian, I think some of us here might have recognized you from the Bachelorette. Is that true?
Yes, man. Yes, it's true. That's true, Andallyn. I got my heart broken on national television in front of all my friends and family. Thank you. Damn, we're going deep here today, are we? Okay. All right, Andallyn. I'm gonna pull up your Facebook right now. let me start digging.
Oh no!
While you're doing that, Andallyn, what have you been up to since our last show?
Well, let's see. I have been. I produced an actual live stream event. So I did my first CrossFit event, which was actually really neat. My little brother runs a CrossFit gym here in the Southeast, and he runs one of the largest CrossFit competitions in the Southeast as well. For anyone who does like the CrossFit community type of stuff, and so that was actually a really exciting event, really entertaining, and it was a lot of fun. So we had a lot of fun putting that together. I designed all of his graphics, and it was a really fun time. So, but it was very busy last 2 weeks. But it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, what about you?
Well, did you play the game at all? I'm just curious.
No, I'm getting really excited to play right now. When after this, I'm just gonna dive straight into pre-patch, and I've never been more excited. So
You said, hold on a second. You said you just got into the servers. There's no way you logged out. There's no way.
yeah, I did.
You logged out, really?
Yeah.
I logged out. Yeah.
Oh man, you're committed. You're committed to the podcast. That's pretty solid.
That's right. Yep.
Are the servers that bad right now?
Yeah, like pre-patch, it's been rough. Like authenticating, getting through UIs weren't loading. It's been choppy, dude. So,
Yeah, dude, Christian. Anytime I get to talk with you, man, I'll drop it. We'll be good to go.
a true friend. A true friend. Thank you.
That's right.
All right, Christian, what have you been up to for the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, man. We officially announced our rebuild. We got the community team up and running. We've got over 1,000 people participating. So I've been hanging out with the community a lot, jumping in streams, chatting with people in Discord. We've got tons of applications. I think we're over 700 for the guild.
Wow.
Got some announcements to make for re-signings and things that we're doing.
Nice.
Just announced. I'm sure you saw Mighty Mouse that announcement today. So. Demetrius is pretty amazing. Fortunately, he plays Horde as well, so was able to sign him.
That's awesome.
It's good to go.
I always appreciate more targets on the battleground.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Well,
No.
unfortunately, I've been like Andallyn. I haven't really been playing very much. I logged in just to do some auction house stuff, but I've been so busy real lifing, trying to get my house ready for the winter. And trying to get I'm still unpacking boxes. Can you imagine? It's been almost 2 months, and I'm still unpacking boxes.
You moved.
Crazy.
You recently moved.
Yeah, moved. Joined me and my wife. Bought a house, and finally got to co-locate again because I am in the Canadian Forces, so I was separated from her for a while.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. But congrats, man. Congrats on the house.
It's part of the job. So, but yeah. So, still slowly working through boxes and trying to find where to put everything.
Dude, perfect. Right in time for Shadowlands, so you could just, not leave your house. Go hard, sweaty.
Exactly. Yeah, hey babe, you go store that out. Yeah, guys, come on, let's.
That's right.
Let's play the pre-patch. Yeah. Well,
I
I think that's.
I was gonna say I feel bad for the people who have already requested off of work for Shadowlands, and they're just like, no, I already had those days approved or something like that. So I've been there, I've done that. I know exactly how heartbreaking that would be. So my heart goes out to them. But
dude, I know guilds in the top 10 who were coordinating like their guilds for that. Imagine, you're gonna go for a race to world first, and you got official full raid teams. It's been problematic for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, there's some people on the Warcraft radio team that had approved leave, and they can't take it back, so they're just enjoying some time off, and we'll see what happens when Shadowlands actually drops.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be easier to get into the servers, but I'm sure it won't be. But anyway, Gerissar, you want to move on to the Need Greed Pass?
Yeah, let's roll it.
Okay, sounds good.
This likely won't be a clean fight, so keep your distance, eh?
Nope, we're good. Sorry, it's a quick little bumper. You don't hear it, but they do. All right. So, boys, for Need Greed Pass today, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the expansions that we liked. So, as you all probably both know, we are able to pretty much level in whatever expansion we want now, thanks to Chromie's Time Trinket. So, Need Greed Pass today, you're going to be given three options. You will either choose which one you would want to roll Need on, which one you're going to want to roll Greed on, and which one you're going to pass on. Okay? So, assuming all expansions are going to be leveling at the same rate and at the same, like, you're not going to be able, this one's not going to take you 6 hours. Warlords of Draenor is not a thing in this, for instance, all right? There's not going to be extra world quests that are going to boost you up faster. This is purely just based off of your own desires and your own passions on what you would enjoy, okay? So, leveling a brand new toon, all right? Yeah. Would you choose to level your brand new toon in the Wrath of the Lich King, the Burning Crusade, or Legion?
Ooh.
Who's this going to first?
Whoever you want.
Whoever you want.
That's a tough one. It's either going to be Wrath Lich King or Burning Crusade. That's a tough one for me. I'll probably take Wrath Lich King.
Why is that?
Can I still get my Kingslayer achievement?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can. Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna go Wrath of the Lich King. I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed that expansion. Burning BC was fun too.
Yeah, I have some fond memories of that place.
Yeah, BC I enjoyed as well, but probably take Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna need on that. Which one do you want to greed on?
I'll greed on BC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Sounds good. I like it. Gerissar, what about you, man? Have you landed on something?
This is tough. This is tough. I have a special place in my heart for Burning Crusade. Really, really enjoyed that. Loved playing it through the first time because I just been 60 for a little while. Just was starting to get some good gear, but I was still facing people that were totally geared out. And then coming into Burning Crusade was great. You know, suddenly had the epic greens, and you could compete again against these people that had been raiding for God knows how long. But for actual leveling, I would rather do Legion. I really enjoyed the Legion leveling process. So, and Burning Crusade was okay, but it's not that great. It's not that great. Not without unless you have like the heirloom gear with all the XP boosts and everything, where you can get through the whole thing in one zone. So I'm gonna say
I got that no more.
I'm gonna need on Legion, and I'm going to greed on Wrath and pass on Burning Crusade for Chromie time leveling.
Interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
You know,
what about you, Andallyn?
This is tough for me because it's very unfortunate. So, Christian, I actually don't know if you know this, but I played in vanilla, and my friends convinced me that it'd be great, and they were all 60 already, and so my vanilla experience was leveling a fire mage from 1 to 60, and I quit when I was 60 because I was like, I'm just not having fun. They're all so far ahead of me, and I actually didn't come back into the game till 60 days or 90 days before Cataclysm launched. So I missed all of Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. I'm not upset about this, but a lot of people feel really badly for me, but it is what it is. Yeah. So,
you missed some good stuff.
So I think I'm going to actually roll need on Wrath of the Lich King. I think that would be... I never have actually like done the questing through there. I leveled a toon not too long ago and did the actual... did the Ice Crown quest line in the zone, which was actually really fun, and it was enjoyable. So that kind of wet my whistle a little bit. So I think I'm going to roll need on Wrath of the Lich King. I'm going to greed on Burning Crusade, and I'm going to pass on Legion, just like what you did. But that's what I would go with.
Nice.
I have to admit, the Wrath leveling was good, and it was definitely a refinement over vanilla and Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
So.
Andallyn, awesome. What do you think Pleb would pick?
I mean,
shout out to the best in the business, Pleb.
The best in the business, 100%. I feel like he would be a Burning Crusade guy, but I mean, I would not be surprised if he went Wrath either. So
really, okay. All right. We'll have to find out.
Well, that Legion was just a curveball, you know.
I think that's a good point, though. Let's again throw this out to everybody at home, playing at home. So what would you pick between Wrath of the Lich King, Burning Crusade, and Legion? Tweet us or email us your answers. Let us know what you would want to play in. Indeed.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, why don't we? Since I love that icebreaker. It really gets people going and it gets a kind of idea where people are thinking in their thought processes. But why don't we actually roll into the subject analysis, Andallyn, and really get to the nitty gritty of why Christian is here and talking about Method.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna light you up, sweet cheeks.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about Method. So Christian, again, thank you so much for taking this time, joining us on the podcast tonight or this evening. And, we want to talk a little bit, chat. We want to talk a little bit about some of the things and ask Christian a little bit about some of the things that haven't exactly been made abundantly clear in what Method has kind of released, and also kind of delve a little bit deeper into a couple different things that we've talked about, like what is this Method community? What does it mean with all these people are posting on Twitter? I've joined the Method community because I'm sure you guys have seen it as well. I'm talking to the chat, right? And so, Christian, just to kind of get us started here, we kind of be curious to get a little bit of an idea of where were you with this? What was it about Method that really made you decide that you would like to stay with these guys and you wanted to be part of this rebuild? Because it wasn't an easy decision, I'm sure, and there was definitely some conflicting things going on there. So give us a little bit of an idea about what was Christian's road in this all.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Andallyn. There's a few things there I'll work through, kind of trying to answer it all and addressing them. For me, man, I've been a huge fan of World of Warcraft and Blizzard games my entire life. Like, working at Blizzard was like my dream when I was a kid, putting in job postings, job apps, getting denials with my trash applications as a kid. And I'm a revenue, like, biz dev guy, right? Like, and as a kid, there was like no chance. Like, I'm not a game designer. I'm not a creative person like that.
Right.
And a lot of those roles were structured around that. And then esports comes along, and here I am working through my 20s in corporate America and doing stuff on TV. And then it finally created like an ecosystem and a chance for me to be able to add value, like as a business guy, as a BD guy, because there's so much entrepreneurial activity in this industry. And Method had both. Method had the entrepreneurial component, but also was my favorite team, right? And something that I looked up to, playing World of Warcraft. Like, I know how hard it is to raid at a high level. Actually, I don't. Like, I actually truly don't know what it's like to be a world first raider. I understand how hard raiding is, and I've raided even like hardcore guilds, right? Raiding 4 or 5 days a week, wipe after wipe, and we're trash. We're still not even ranked anywhere close to where Method is. So the thought process and the respect that I have, for Method and what it's accomplished over the years, right? It's been 15 years of excellence at like a really high level. That's important to me personally, and to see what's happened this year. It's just heartbreaking for me, getting to know the team and like everybody behind the scenes. And Andallyn, better than other people, like how passionate and smart and hardworking everyone is, that really believe in Method. So, it's been important for me to kind of do my part, stand by the organization, be a part of, I think, the future and doing things the right way and ensuring something like, what we've gone through never happens again. And try to do things appropriately.
That's awesome. I think that really speaks to just the organization, the core there. Because, like you said, you joined in December, and here June rolls around, and literally the cock guy hits the fan there. It was quite the tear, and yet you stuck with it. Like, was that just was it just one thing there? Was it a multitude of things that made you want to stay and help it rebuild and take it to where it's going now? Or was there a multitude of things that really made you just want to stick through this and keep her going?
For me, it was obviously the passion that I have for Method, which I love World of Warcraft and just MMOs in general. 2, it was the team, the passionate people. Like, you build relationships, you stay in roles, you stay in companies because of the people that you work with. And number three, it was the accountability that was taken from Scott and the rest of the leadership team of being like, yo, this was fucked up. Like, this should have never have happened. Mistakes were made.
Mm-hmm.
We have to ensure this never happens again. And I built a friendship, right, with Scott. And like SCO, is directly associated with the Method brand. And imagine like 15 years of your life, like through childhood to being an adult, providing for your family, just to see what's happened to the organization has been brutal for me. And wanting to make sure that, this isn't the final chapter, right, for Method, and that there's a bigger story to tell.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what about, because I guess it's been about 3 months, I guess, or give or take, right, since all this kind of came into the public sphere. And I mean, of course, that isn't to undermine everything that, there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed and there were issues. And I think it's very admirable what Method and what you guys are doing. And honestly, frankly, I'm a little inspired because I have a lot of admiration for people who are willing to say, hey, we messed up, and now I'm going to do what I need to do to be part of the change that I want to see in the world. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So I'm kind of curious, what's been your most mind-taking thing? Like, what's made the most impact for you over the past 3 months? Has it been Scott's reaction to taking accountability? Has it been maybe how much the team has been able to rally behind that? What's it been like for you as far as the most noteworthy or kind of breathtaking thing for you in this rebuild process so far?
I think it's been our conviction to listen, across the entire team, man. Ultimately, you've got people that have, had been in horrible situations, right? Of people doing really bad things that should have never happened, speaking out about what they've been through. And for me, I'm all about that, right? Trying to empower those people and support underrepresented groups that feel like they don't have a voice. And they're just being muffled by people that happen to have the audience. And I've been inspired by that from how passionate our team's been from top to bottom to be like, look, we need to really listen up. Like, everybody, listen up here, pay attention. Let's pause here. Let's take a really deep look systematically throughout the organization and take the steps to enact change systematically, right? Like putting policies in place, things that are really strict, and like doing the meticulous work to document. These aren't things that, of course, everybody's excited to do. This was a WoW guild, right? Like literally a WoW guild. Think about that. Like, we all are in guilds, and you have a WoW guild that over time became an actual business, but it wasn't a business at day one. It was just a WoW guild, and the scene has developed, and seeing the conviction, the focus from everybody that works at Method, to do the work, to listen, and really motivate it to earn the community's trust back, is inspiring for me. It's something I'm proud to be a part of.
So I have to ask the question. So I remember watching the announcement and the follow-on Twitch interaction you guys posted when you announced what you'd done and what the steps forward were going to be. So if I remember, you guys brought in a third-party HR consultant for that?
Yeah, we did.
Right. Do you want to talk? Can you talk a little bit about what that was like, going through, how they helped, and where that is now?
Yeah, for us, it was important not only to bring in a third-party consultant on the HR side of things, but we did that with the law firm as well for the investigations. We wanted somebody that could be completely impartial, that had the appropriate certifications, trainings, to built careers around dealing with things like this, and make sure that we were being meticulous and taking everything very seriously. So we brought in this firm, 4 Point Consulting, that had the appropriate accreditations and everything that we didn't have, to make sure that, hey, look at everything here. We're an open book. Help us fix this, and that's what we were focused on doing.
Nice. And I think that's amazing because I think when you guys first announced it, it seemed there seems to be some ambiguity about the organization. That so I appreciate really it has a name and that it has, like you said, the credentials to take care of that. Um, I have to say,
Well, just well,
and
just to
oh,
chime
sorry,
in there,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's important, right? Like our intent wasn't ever to be unclear. We were trying to be very specific and focus on getting out as much information as we could about some of the steps that we were taking, and just communicating how serious we were about listening to the community. But no, like that's why I'm glad to be an open book here and answer any questions you may have, because that's not our intent. There's nothing to hide. We want to be as open as we can be.
And very much appreciate that. I'm sure the people that are going to be listening to this in the near future will also really appreciate that. Uh, I have to say, just for me personally, I found it really odd that, and this is just Gerissar's brain, seeing that there's a third party reporting tool. So if anybody has an issue or wants to raise a concern, they can just email. What's it? It's hr@method.gg, right?
Yeah.
And they can report that. And I have to say, like, for a third party, having an at method.gg seemed a little odd. Like, yeah, I thought it would be some other it would have another name to that, but I'm assuming would it be correct in assuming that there's just that's just going through the server routing. Nobody at Method is actually going to see it. It gets shot directly over to the HR.
Yeah, it's a box completely controlled by HR. For us, we were putting processes in place, and we wanted a central box that could be managed, that everything could be tracked, and certainly have a history and a log of these things, right? So it's not having a company-controlled, box, for our HR team to be able to access for years and years to come. I think would be a miss. So we wanted to make sure that we had that, but that's completely handled and controlled by the third party, for them to go through the appropriate process every time.
Awesome. You kind of understand what I'm saying there. So
Yeah, no, look, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like if there was another, like if we had like a long-term working relationship with some company and you could do it that way, that would be interesting to kind of explore, maybe like a third-party box or something. But at least initially for now, and we felt pretty comfortable with this.
nice. So can you talk to us a bit about the leadership change? I mean, there's Alyssa joined the team, right? She's new.
Yeah.
There's been a little bit of some new people that joined in. Can you talk a little bit about what's currently the leadership team at Method and what that looks like?
Yeah, so the leadership team is we're continue to bolster our ranks and hire and bring on more people with diverse backgrounds, and different perspectives, right? To make sure one person's not too in the weeds. You've got Scott, that still is our CEO. We brought in Alyssa as the chief communications officer. You've got Jay as well, who's the CFO of the company, and you've got myself as the chief revenue officer. And we're continuing to hire. Going to be bringing on additional staff in the leadership roles to bolster our ranks.
All right.
And I don't mind. And Gerissar, I see a question from Kex. Kex, man, what's up, buddy? Thanks for your question. He asks, a lot of folks, when they see in the community, when they see Method, they immediately think of the situation, what happened. What do we think will change that view? Is it possible, or is it a case of bringing in a new audience? I think it's the responsibilities on us. Responsibilities on us, Kex, to earn back the community's trust, your trust, by doing the right things and taking the actions. So we took the first step. We talked about our plans, what we're doing, and what we have done already. So we were very meticulous to not just come on and talk about like, oh, we plan on bringing on an HR team. Like we plan on doing this. Like, no, like Kex, we're telling you, like, we did this, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to communicate about the steps that we're taking, and hopefully we can show you over time, not just this tier with Shadowlands. It's going to be years to come, right? So for some people, hopefully they give us a second chance to kind of rebuild a relationship with them. Others, we don't know, but I think we just have to focus on what we control, and that's doing the right thing and try to be above reproach and an example.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's wonderful. And I kind of want to lead you a little bit further down a road that we were just talking about here. And in that same vein as well, you kind of mentioned how Method started out as a World of Warcraft guild, and there's still an element of that that's still true today. at the heart of it, it still is a World of Warcraft guild, right? And so, tell us a little bit about what kind of personnel, if any, you've brought on to be this more strong forward HR department. And is this something that's being shared by the staff, or is this something that's kind of being pushed as an initiative by your HR department?
Yeah, no. So we brought in this whole team, right? This HR consulting company to support as an internal resource within Method.
Okay,
There's been,
gotcha.
and there's continuing to be trainings, education, one-on-ones, handling like these open dialogues, right, within the company, so everybody has a chance to provide feedback and participation. Nothing is dictated and saying like, hey, this is exactly what we're doing. There are very open, transparent convos where feedback is taken in, and
Hmm.
we hold everybody accountable, right? Like, from all the way up from Scott all the way down, to anybody working on the team, right? It's just there's full participation across the business, to make sure that everybody's on board
Yeah.
and we're taking the right steps.
If you're allowed to, could you tell us a little bit about some of that training? What that's looked like?
Yeah, so it's there's a few things that I can touch on, right? So whenever I've been at other corporate situations, and I've got a lot of experience doing this year after year, I call them LSOs, like learning solutions. You have to go through these things with traditional companies, and some people, even to this day, still don't know. But you've got your basic sexual harassment training, right? Like your code of conduct within a company of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, where some people just don't understand. And remember, we're a global organization, so you've got people from all kinds walks of life, cultures, backgrounds, where some people may think saying one thing is appropriate in a work environment. You're like, no, you can't say that, right?
Mhm.
Like there's a certain way that you have to communicate with people. So really, it wasn't just the trainings, but it was also going through the examples of, hey, these actions are inappropriate. Like, no, you can't say these things. This is how you act in a professional setting. Um, and going through a lot of those components. But it's not just that. It's also the other end from a mental health perspective, right? It's how do you treat each other? How do you communicate with management? But HR being a resource, not just to the community, right? If there's an issue that needs to be communicated, but to the team internally within Method. It's what if you, as a member of the staff, feel like you're disenfranchised or that you don't have someone to talk to. So HR is also supporting that. So there was trainings to make sure that there's work-life balance, that you're taking care of yourself, your
Awesome.
family, so that when
Mhm.
you are working, you could be at the top of your game.
That's awesome.
That's how you get world first, baby. That's right.
I,
Maybe,
I, I
maybe one day.
I have to ask a tough question because you kind of hit on something, but I felt like there was a piece that was missing. So you're saying that everybody who's part of the company has a voice and is able to participate in these things. I gotta ask because we know from the outcome of what was reported back in June that Sasha was, say, in the middle of the controversy, and if I'm not mistaken, he's still showing as part of the company. Um, what kind of involvement is he having then in these discussions that you guys are having?
It's fair.
I
It's a,
have to ask.
it's a fair question. None. So he has no involvement in the day-to-day operations of Method. He does not interact and engage with the team. That doesn't happen. So I think there's been some lack of clarity
Mhm.
around that. The reality is that Method was started with Sasha. So it's a bit more complex than people think. Yes, this year has been stressful for a lot of us and crazy, and so much has happened so quickly. But
Mhm.
in the grand scheme of things, we're only talking months, right? You're talking
Yeah.
60, 90 days. It's an incredibly short time to work through everything. But we moved action immediately. So he's not involved in the day to day. Was a part of starting Method, and there's some things that have to be addressed there from a structure position. But day-to-day ops, no involvement.
Okay. Is that just like I kind of understand a little bit corporation stuff? Is it just a legality matter where it's like because he's like considered a co-owner, just like
Yeah, there's
Scott's?
equity structures.
Yeah.
There's equity structures to it, right? Like there's you can't you have to go through processes with things, and some things just don't move as quickly. And
It's kind of like a divorce.
got to work through it. Like even that takes a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like even divorces, right? Like that stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Mhm.
No, and no one likes to be in that situation. But you got to handle things.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I appreciate the openness on that. I've seen a lot of people still comment about that, and that I think that's I think one thing that people are seeing, and it causes them to immediately have a emotional reaction, not realizing what's going on behind all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, and I get it, right? Like I get it. At the end of the day, seeing what has happened, and loving the community and loving WoW, and also if you loved Method, right? Like if you loved Method and then you felt like let down and stuff, it's frustrating. It could be really disappointing too. So like
Yeah.
I understand why people want to be really critical, and they have a right to be, and we have to do the right things and be better, as an organization, because nothing's given. There's no entitlement here. You got to go out and earn it.
Yeah. 100%.
Indeed.
So just following along on the same line here, with regard to Sasha, is Method's approach now an approach that's looking to, well, let me step back here one step, because from what we understand, I guess Sasha's going through a formal leadership training that's going on. That's like something along the lines of like 6 months or something like that. Maybe you could give us some more information about that. But I'm kind of curious about, is Method's goal to figure out how to phase him back in or to phase him out, or do we not know yet?
I think it's, look, for us, I think we're focusing on the immediate, right? Which was taking very clear and concise action, right? Where it's Sasha's no longer involved in the day-to-day business, listening to the community, putting processes, policies, and procedures in place. And then at the same time, it's, Sasha, you have to go do the right thing, right? Like you got to
Yeah.
go take these trainings, get some education, get some learning, listen, right? Like listen to yourself and take some accountability here and work through things. And that, from my perspective, is where it starts. Like that's where it starts and stops. And then everything else is like, it's put off. But like my focus is 100% on Method, and what we're trying to do here, and working with the community stream team and this upcoming tier, and getting back to making amazing content, right? And me myself playing the game, and and having some fun, is my focus.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So you said you guys have a bunch of people that have made applications, both on the community team and to join the guild. So obviously, I think Sko had talked about that, the road to world first, he's calling it now,
Yeah.
bringing in all these guild applications to rebuild the raiding guild. How's that coming along? Like that, like 700. You just said 700
Yeah.
guild apps, actually, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
That's huge.
Amazing.
And that's what's really amazing, I think, about Method and what it's accomplished over the years is, there's a lot of people that still love the game, that happen to really believe and love it, Method and what's been accomplished. And honestly, it's, people that want to continue to play at the game at a really high level and believe in what Method believes around that, right? Which is excellence, after doing it for over a decade, and continuing to perform. So there's a lot of amazing players, who are really looking to do that. So I'm excited to try to be a resource to them so that they could just play,
Yeah.
right? Like just play games, and like what new streamers, right, are we going to continue to develop, and what new content is going to be made. Could be a lot of exciting fresh faces and people coming out of the scene, especially with this new tier and how things are going to go, and the changes with the game. There's going to be some new stars coming out of this experience. And you think of like the Road to World First project, that's like different, it's unique, hasn't been seen before. There's a chance, like if we can do it properly, like to document and storytell this process, for the next up and coming.
This isn't just okay, here's a bunch of the regular raid team plus a few extras, let's punch through and race to world first. No, this is like ground building from the rubble, a whole new guild to do that as well.
Yeah, it's hard too, right? Like how many new top 10 guilds like do you see, right? Like it's
Exactly, right.
It's not easy, building a race world first competitor, right, and a viable one at that. It doesn't just happen overnight either. It's gonna take time. But listen, Kex, I accept you're gonna pay tribute for D&D. So come, man, come. I accept that. Love to have you, man.
Well, if you want to be able to run timed, you might not want to take.
Uh-oh, what are you saying there? Uh-oh.
Hey, I
don't-
can vouch
don't-
for Kexman, man. He'll be all
Don't
right.
attack Kex. Don't attack Kex. All right, Kex is a friend. Don't attack him.
I know. I'm just bugging. All right. Okay.
Let's.
So
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
are
yeah.
building Race to World, the Road to World first. What about on the esports side? We got there's the Mythic Dungeon International and the Arena World Cup.
Yeah, MDI and AWC I think would be really interesting to get back in the scene. It starts with finding the right group, right? Like who are the right players that are really passionate that would align with our new core set of values and the mission and what we're trying to do. So we're definitely looking for that special group that we can pump like a ton of resources into to really support. We're really excited about that one. We're talking to some groups. So if you
Okay.
are you but listen, Alliance is out of the table, bro. So you have no chance. All right. So you got no chance.
Hey, if it takes winning the tournament, though, it might not be off the table.
I know.
I never took you for being a factionist.
I know. Some strong faction vibes.
For the Lord, bro. What can I say, dude? I literally don't think I've ever played Alliance. I think I rolled like a Warlock Gnome one time with my buddy. A Gnome Warlock just to play with him for a bit, but like I think I got to like level 7 and I was disgusted, threw up and deleted the character.
Oh, that's horrible.
That
Just speaking of gnomes, do you at least make a gnome do the running of the gnomes for the charity event?
That would be cool. That
I
would be
think
kind of cool.
that's coming up. I think that's like tomorrow
What
or
is
something
it?
like that.
Wow,
Is it
has it
really?
already been a year? My
Yeah,
goodness.
it's been a year.
I felt like it was
only
just
there's
yesterday
only-
we were talking about that.
No, it's the 15th in Scarlet Crusade.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's off by a day.
So that's in 2 days on Thursday, yeah?
Yep.
That's
Very
always
neat.
so cool. These videos of these are always so fun.
Okay, here we go. We're all Alliance today on Thursday, so at least for like a couple minutes. Like, I think that's be all right.
This has been the
Alright.
longest march. Yes. Thank you,
Yes.
Sean.
Yeah. Right.
The march
Yeah.
break that never ends.
All right, so that's exciting. Dude, I'm incredibly psyched to see who we could be seeing as possibly some of the future MDI or possibly AWC players, but to fill in this new core values method roster. That's incredibly exciting stuff. Also incredibly exciting stuff, though, is some of this new method community streamers. So we've seen Twitter almost be inundated by this wave of I am a method community streamer. You know, I have joined the method stream team. So I'm looking a little bit here. I actually put this in the chat. It's kind of a breakdown of what the different tiers are in this method community streamer program. So can you tell us a little bit about what is this and like how does this system designed to work?
Yeah, so we got I'm gonna pull it up too with you. We got a lot of passionate people,
Yeah.
man. Those social posts that honestly, like, I started streaming at the beginning of the year myself on Twitch, and it's not easy. It's really not easy to grow, and discoverability on Twitch can be tough, right? Like, and you're in there sometimes streaming to an audience of your mom, right? Like your number one viewer, and you're streaming on this
Mom.
your chat bot, and it can be tough, man. And for us, it was an opportunity to kind of engage with the community direct because a lot of awesome creators. So we launched a community team, set up these tiers, and it's like, look, we happen to have the resources, we have to have the relationships, to be able to help people build careers around creating content and doing what we love, which is what we do. And fortunately, we happen to be able to do so. So that's what we set it up. We put it in place. We're like, this is something we've been planning on doing for a long time. We're just glad to finally get it over the line.
I love it. It's like trying to achieve a quest.
Yeah.
Right? You're grinding the quest. Like you start off and you're a member, right? You get do the onboarding. Which
You're a pleb.
apparently-
Yeah.
You're a pleb, yeah. But I like that you actually have to do the onboarding, which I'm assuming also
Yeah.
means they have to agree to some of the new ideals of method, which
Yeah,
is great.
there's rules and things that we're gonna have to continue to hold people
Yeah.
accountable to, like as an organization, and that's important. But it gives people, and it's also not supposed to be this thing where it's like no pressure, right? Like at the same
Mhm.
time, we're just working through it, so you can go at your own pace,
Mhm.
accordingly, and eventually you have a chance to actually join the Method stream team, with Twitch, right? And there's a lot of perks that come with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That are stronger and greater than just a traditional Twitch partnership. It
Mhm.
is significant. But
Well, I like.
shout out to Queen of Murlocs real quick. You're a Murloc. I do have a funny story to tell you about that before I give it back to you. My first BlizzCon ever years ago, they actually gave out digital like Murloc suits. I don't know if you remember that Queen of Murloc, but it was like, what was this? Was this like oh 07, oh 08? And like you could turn into a Murloc and you would have a little flag and you would wave it. I don't know if you remember that Queen of Murloc, but that was one of my first BlizzCons.
Is that the
And
same one where they gave the mount that had the little Morlock with the flag?
no, I didn't have a mount. No, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
Yeah. No, one of my accounts, my characters had that, and it would turn into a suit, and you could just run around it. So yeah, shout out to the Murlocs. That's the way
That's
to go.
awesome.
Shout out to the Murlocs.
Oh, poor Queen. Apparently, she doesn't have it. She's
Oh,
yeah.
yikes! I'm sorry, Queen.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's horrible. So just going back to this, so I love this. So it's like you on board, then you do so many hours of streaming, and then you can maybe go to common, and then you can move up to uncommon, and up to rare, epic, and then finally legendary. I love
Legendary.
that. And with that, you get like a whole different things along the way. You can get the graphics package to help you out. You can have promotions, stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like one of the coolest things too is like we're rating these, right? Like
Mhm.
Scott is rating, so he's dropping a couple thousand viewers in some of our
Yeah.
stream teams' audiences. Like imagine that, right? Like imagine being grinding for 2 years on Twitch, and trying to build it up, and then Sco raids you, right? Like where you
Oh
get
my
rated
god.
by other people. So it's
I,
these
I
are
would probably
Yeah.
crumble.
these
Oh my god, I'm not
are just
worthy.
exactly worthy. These are just cool things, and those are just little things, but that's the kind of stuff that we want to continue to do, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So where are you at right now?
Yeah.
Are you in
Where
the,
am I at now?
are you in the rare or are you in the epic? Or are you already legendary?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Oof.
I'm legendary already.
Dude, you're like the
Unfortunately,
main boss, the final boss. That's
unfortunately. Oh
awesome.
no, dude, I'm just a peasant. I'm just a little low peasant, man. I'm just a little peasant, little
A
Murloc,
legendary
right?
peasant though.
Just
Yeah.
trying to make my way through it, man.
That's right.
Step by step.
That's cool, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I love I gotta echo what Gerissar said. I love how it's like it it appeals to a very like a core sense of me to like ooh quest
Yeah.
like ooh I'm gonna go do this so I think that's awesome and like the aesthetic of it of just having like that like ooh the orange one you're striving for something and I think that's awesome and the fact that like Method is coming and saying look, we want to engage and actually like include our community in such a tangible way. And not only that, but listen, guys, like we're gonna hold each other accountable to be better people, better streamers, better gamers, like and just make our community better as a whole. And the fact that we're gonna like hold each other up to that standard is just a great thing to see. And I think gives a lot of people a lot of energy about going forward with this and this method rebuild. So
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm
man.
really
I
excited
believe
about
in.
them.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, man. I believe in it wholeheartedly, right? Like, I think it's been a long time coming, right, in the scene, right, and just in gaming in general. Like, I just can't tell you. You see so much stuff and toxicity in games and people
Hmm.
bullying and whatnot. Yeah, there needs to just be a bigger movement, right? To just treat people the way they want to be treated. Don't be an asshole. Just do the right things, you know.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be that hard. Like honestly, like yeah, trolling could be funny and stuff, but it doesn't always have to be at people's detriment,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Let's try to do the right thing. So like it'd be really cool to be able to have a really awesome group of people get back to just playing games, making amazing content, going to
Yeah.
BlizzCons, when there's not a pandemic, enjoying each other's company and just having fun. just talking lore and talking shit, playing D&D, and just having a good time, man.
100%. So kind of going through all of this, you know, you're someone who's been involved in that corporate America type of space, you know, so a lot of this stuff doesn't come as a stranger to you. So um what's really the thing that you've learned? If maybe it's a couple things, but maybe what's something that kind of that first thing that comes to mind is something that you're like, hey, you know, in my time in corporate America, I didn't really realize this, but kind of going through Method's ups and downs over the past, what, 10 months, 11 months, what have you learned as Christian in the CRO?
I don't think I'll ever let a company not have that infrastructure in place again that I'm ever a part of, regardless of how new it is or how young of a company it is, or how esports it is. Doesn't make a difference. You have to have the appropriate policies and processes in place, always, right, to deal with things, and to make sure that nothing can ever fall through the cracks. It just can never happen. It's not worth it. You have to handle shit. You just have to, and handle it 100% the correct way, and have people that are trained and have built careers around doing so. So there always should be a resource dedicated to that. Just super important.
I hate to say it, but I think, although it's horrible this happened to Method, but I think it was bound to happen to a number of any organization. Maybe not any, but a number of organizations out there. I think there was a number that learned from what happened to Method and instantly did an internal check and had to beef up their own policies because they were not prepared.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've got tons of friends in the space that have gone through this that I've had to give some advice to, make referrals to. Unfortunately, it's a thing. Like, I think our industry and stuff has been really young historically, but it's no excuse, man. It's no excuse for the horrific behavior. That shit deserves to be condemned, and it has no space in our scene. People should always have an opportunity to be safe, to be able to play the games that we love to play with our friends, and always feel welcomed. So it's fucked, but we just got to make sure this stuff doesn't happen. Sorry.
This one completely explicit. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, they're gonna.
It'll be the fourth one in a row. I'm done. I quit. No, I like what you're saying there, because that was one thing else that I remember from the announcement and the stream and just the other the news that you guys were putting out. Is this isn't just meant to be a Method internal. This is our bubble, but if I understood it, like this was meant where Method was going to almost become like you guys were trying to do this to also help change and improve this industry, this young esports industry, these organizations, and help influence beyond the borders of the boundaries of Method, right?
Something we pride ourselves on, right, is ultimately being a resource to gamers, right, and the content creators. So like, whether or not it's like education from our videos, our guides, which are for everybody, whether or not it's supporting the pros, the people that compete, people that raid, or even content creators. It's something we've always tried to do, and just entertain and elevate the scene altogether, creating amazing events like Race to World First and all these programs. It's what we've always tried to do. Now, as we've all matured, right, and as business leaders, and we get older and older, like now we're in our 30s and we're progressing. It's like we were young men and young women, and now we're older and running these businesses too. And I was talking about this on another podcast. It's like there's this sense of responsibility now, especially for like people that are watching and looking up to Method and things, and looking at it to be like, do the right thing, like let's be a better example. And it doesn't always have to be so toxic either, you know. So don't want it to be boring, but there's just a line, you know.
Right. Needs to be healthy. I think that's a big one, you know.
That's my preference.
Absolutely. So that's awesome. Kind of, what's what are you looking forward to the most going forward? And not necessarily generically like, oh, I'm just looking forward to setting the standard, and raising the bar. Um, but what do you see? Like, why should someone believe that Method is got a bright future?
I don't think anyone has to. Actually, I wouldn't put that pressure on anybody, Andallyn, to be honest with you, man. I think it's just give us a chance and watch, right? Like just see from our actions. Like I'm most excited about getting back to having a race world first contending guild that's viable, that could compete at a high level,
Hmm.
structured around doing the right things, right? And being above reproach and being an example in that regard, documenting that story, communicating that to the community, hopefully potentially being able to inspire other people to be able to play at a high level, participate, and go after their dreams, and making content, doing what they love, and helping create that next generation, right? Who is that next big pocket of talent that are amazing in the community and scene? And that's not just for WoW. And I know we're talking like on the WoW podcast here and World
Right.
Ref Radio, but it's also for other games, right? Other
Oh,
MMOs and RPGs, and even games in the Blizzard universe, right? Because like we've other done stuff, but it's also those games. As much as I love WoW, I also do enjoy other titles. So
hmm
getting back to doing all that, man, because that's I love games, right? Like that's my passion, just in general.
100%.
nice. So
That's great.
I thought I saw something about tournaments coming back. Are you guys going to start hosting tournaments again? And I think not just WoW ones, but I thought I saw something about Heroes of the Storm as well.
Yeah, we will. We will. Like
Nice.
ultimately in the right time, like that's what I talk about Blizzard Universe. Like we're gonna support the hot scene, especially because they didn't have their infrastructure, obviously, their whole program, whittled away. That was a community, a scene that didn't have anything, right? Like there
Mhm.
was no programming. So it's like if we can serve as a resource, create some interesting opportunity for, those teams and players, we'd love to do so. So we'll continue to do that. There are some other games that I can't quite announce yet that we're actively working through some things too, that are
Mhm.
really passionate communities. But we're going to continue to support them. But it's like the HOTS situation was heartbreaking. Like I had a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
friends
Oh,
who loved that
yeah.
game, not just at the pro level, but even the collegiate level, right? Like you had a lot
yeah,
of infrastructure and hard work that was done, and it's just like, oh, there's no scene. And it was like
yeah.
it's like I spent so much time advocating and fighting even for like World of Warcraft, like and people like are like, Race to World First isn't an esport and stuff. And I'm like, I'm okay not calling our programming esports. I don't really too much care about that. But the issue that I have is that it's dismissed like from how difficult it is. And it's competition, right? Like it's competitive gaming at the highest level, and what it takes to do that at a high level,
hmm
day after day after day, pull after pull after pull, hundreds of pulls, tweaking and refining. That stuff triggers me. So I spend a lot of time advocating,
Yeah.
for our scene, and new games and stuff too.
Right. Well, I think I unless Andal, do you have anything else you want to ask? Because I'm going to ask this special question.
Yeah, sure. I think we can ask one more question here just to kind of wrap it up. So I guess Christian, as kind of like a 2 minute kind of elevator pitch, what is? I just want to ask you a question and let you run with it. Like, what is Method? What is Method now?
I think it's what we've always been, right? We've just been an extension of the community. A bunch of people that love World of Warcraft, a bunch of nerds and gamers, right? That are going to continue to play, and make content. That's what
Hmm.
we are. We're an organization that got our work cut out for us. That's got some real work to do to regain the trust of the community and scene, because frankly, man, we wouldn't be anywhere where we are today without the community. It honestly starts and stops with the community support, for an organization like Method and us. So um, we're motivated, man. We're motivated, we're focused, we're really driven to getting back. Scott is relentless. He's an animal. I can't tell you how motivated
Yeah,
he is, man, to get back to it.
can
So
imagine.
yeah, we're just super focused, man. Just excited just to getting back to doing what we love.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
awesome.
All right,
Garrisar, let it run.
Christian. Yeah. So we always like to do this. We call it the one thing you would change. And this is normally it's within World of Warcraft. You can talk to the head guy is a WoW, and you can change just one thing, and it's about the subject we're talking about.
Yeah. Hey,
But I guess,
Halinka.
yeah. But I think considering the topic about today, let's go beyond that. Let's just say, uh, you, unlimited resources, whatever you want, it can happen. Just with like you got the gauntlet of power, right? Snap of the finger, it changes. What is one thing you would change about let's say about the current structure, the current culture with esports organizations and I guess within our community of World of Warcraft?
Oh my goodness, what a monster question.
That is a pretty
Wow.
monster question.
So,
Yeah.
I'm
Well, this is a bit of a heavy topic, so I think it's needed.
I can go
heavy-
first too,
Sure.
because I kind of have something here and give you a little chance to think on that, Christian. So I think the one thing that I would change here is I would want to make the pro scene more accessible. So one of the big issues that I think is I'm not the best person to talk about this because I'm not someone who's involved at a very high level in terms of esports as a whole, right? I am not involved in the LCS, in the OWL, and these types of things. I know people who are, and they're way more qualified to talk about this than I am. But I think one of the biggest problems that I hear kind of coming down into my world is that it's very tough for someone who's a really good, dedicated player to make their way into the ranks and rosters of the likes of like the San Francisco Shock or like, being on the main stage and stuff like that. So I think one of the things that I would want to change is I would want to see a lot of these rosters and a lot of these franchises become more driven somehow by the actual players rather than the money feeds and all these types of other things that kind of almost lock some of these players in. I'd almost rather see it more competition and player based, if that's even possible. But this is the one thing you would change. It doesn't have to be possible. So
yeah, that's interesting. I think there's quite a few things that I would change, or that I would use my power accordingly to make a difference. To piggyback off of your comment, what I'd like to see over the years is the infrastructure for the entire ecosystem, right? So like everything is incredibly like top heavy, like the 1%, 1%, 1%, right? It's the most elitist, hardcore players. It would be great to see more opportunity, right, for people to participate, to get better, to improve, and actually have a path, right? We'll say a path to pro, for a lack of a better term, of saying like, hey, I'm that kid, right? Like I'm that kid watching the stream or like watching Sko stream, and I'm 12 or whatever, and I want to play, but like, what's that path? Like, how do I get there? It's not clear. It really isn't clear. If you look at traditional sports, and we'll like pick an American sport, right? We'll say like basketball. It's like, okay, I'm playing through Pee Wee. I'm going to like high school. I go maybe like a travel team if I really got it going on. I go to college, and then I have a chance to get drafted to go pro. Like there's a path, right? And an infrastructure put in place. In our scene, like it really doesn't exist necessarily. And discoverability is also very difficult for a lot of esports. Like not if you have like a ladder system in your esport and a ranking system, it's a bit easier for you potentially to get a chance. With some other ones, it's really hard. So it would be great to see a path that doesn't just rely on just playing either, right? Because if that was for me, I never would have got it. Like I'm just simply, I don't have it. I'm just not good enough of a player, right? Like I am slightly above average in most games, and below average in a lot as well. So like if my end to the scene was only going pro, that would suck for me. So I'd also like to see the other opportunities, right? Like I'd also like to see infrastructure put in place where it's like, do you want to work on esports team? Are you a content creator? Are you great at editing? Are you a producer? Are you a journalist, right? Like it'd be great to see that, and more mentorship and development of people to give them a chance to go after it. So giving back a little bit of time too from people that have been successful, who've paid the way in a way to kind of bring some people along. I'd like to see more of that. I like to see people getting pulled along too, to kind of follow along and be able to live this, this dream.
I love it. So I had a thought, but now listening to both you guys, it morphed as things always do. You listen to other people.
It's good.
Oh yeah, this will be yeah. Um. So thinking about what you're saying, I feel like there's some ways in place to like using the TESPA and some of the collegiate esports stuff to really you kind of piggyback off of what you see with traditional sports, where it's through the colleges and then people are seen and then therefore they're picked up and you get a try at something big kind of thing. So I think some of that is already there. I really wish that there would be, I don't know, a way where somebody could make it big and be found without having to be through a brick and mortar, if you will, through a collegiate esport or through something like, if it's almost like esport organizations need scouts to go out and be able to find the people rather than wait for somebody to get enough of an audience that then they rise high enough on the whatever that medium that they're streaming on to be noticed, right? If it's that way, or for the content creation, or if it's it just seems like right now it's such a churn of just this struggle to float up and be recognized enough to get up high enough to then show up on the front page of some website before somebody's like, oh hey, that person, yeah, maybe that person would be good for the organization. It'd be better and I think it's kind of what you're already doing, but I wish it was kind of reaching out to people as well, rather than somebody trying to get over their own fears of failure, I guess, and putting in that application only to be denied by Blizzard because their application sucked and they're looking for designers and not for people with bachelor's of administration or something like that.
Right.
So I'd like to see something like that. So
yeah,
no,
and that's
that real quick, that would be great, man. And that's back to the discoverability piece. It'd be awesome to do that, because I think some of the most heartbreaking stories are when people give up, right? When people give up too early before they have a chance to get discovered, and that passion's stifled, right? Or they have like their surroundings, and people are telling them like, why are you still doing that? Like,
right.
it doesn't make you any money. You barely have views, you're barely watching. Like, go do something else. Like,
well, bills have to be paid too.
Yeah, no, look, and they do, right? Like, and they do. Like, I didn't make money my first 2 years trying to get in the scene. Like, I built an esports arena in LA and didn't make money. Like, I didn't. Like, I've burned through my entire savings, and my family, we've had to sacrifice tremendously for me to get an opportunity in this industry. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, the world certainly is not easy. It's not. Nope. You have to fight. You have to push for the things that you want to go for. But it would be amazing if we had the power.
If we could just go.
If we could do that, if we could, there it is. If we could align, if you gave me that power, if I could align everybody with their passions and with their hearts and make it easy for them, where it's clear, because for me it wasn't clear for me. I always knew I love video games, but for some reason I just didn't be like, go make a career out of it, idiot. Like, I just didn't, like, I was like too busy like going corporate America. I'm like, do I go to law school? Do I do this? And eventually it just hit me. It hit me one day, and I was like, I'm gonna go all in. And I've been never happy since. So if I could do that, if I could align people with their passions, with their hearts, and where they want to do, and then point them in the direction as they go, then it would be a pretty special world.
Oh, the world would be so much better.
That would be awesome.
I mean, it would be pretty amazing.
It would. Yeah, I feel you on a lot of those points. I mean, I spent a lot of 2 years actually running Resurgent Esports Broadcasting, and a lot of days people would ask me like, why are you still doing this? And some days I'd ask that to myself, and so, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't change a thing about it. It got me to where I was. It's got me exactly where I want to be. And it's given me what I think is a bright future for for things, and so I totally get it. And kind of Garrissar talking about that, I'd almost love to even have like a a spun off side conversation about that sometime, because that almost starts to beg the question then, like, is streaming really a prerequisite for you to get noticed, or for you to be able to make it, because there's so many
I
players.
still think you have to.
It does, and really it's but it's also so true that there are so many players like Christian, just like what you were talking about with, you know, if your capabilities, or you as a person, just like if you're maybe an incredible player, but something like streaming just absolutely terrifies you, what do you do? Like, what do you really just have to suck it up and make that work, So, because I mean, we've seen so many other players who have taken the reverse route, right? They get found by someone else through another channel, and they become well known, and now that they're well known, people say, why don't you stream?
Yeah.
Right?
I listen. Tons of players play with no cams, right?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
tons that are like no cam streamers. Like I think his Drixie was his name. He played like Apex, or he was incredible. Like I was watching him play, and he was being pushed to turn on his cam. And even Booga from Fortnite, he doesn't like to stream with his cam on. I also don't want to push people to do things they don't want to do. That's the crazy
Right,
thing.
exactly.
So it's like, you know,
I'd say it's
my mic is like, do what you want to do. If you want to stream, stream. If you don't. I wouldn't speak in absolutes about any of that. I think there still is an opportunity for discoverability if you're great at what you do,
Yeah.
and if you put in the work.
That's
You just have to go about it a different way, is all.
Yeah, that's such a Gary V response to esports. I love it.
I do.
So
I
that's-
believe
that's
it.
great.
bro.
Yeah,
believe
that's
And
wonderful.
I guess I was wrong, because if I think about it, out of like just in the AWC circuit, the number of players that actually stream with cams on is very small. The number of players that stream
Yeah.
with cams off is a little bit bigger, but there's a number of people that play in those tournaments that don't stream at all, or if they stream, it's infrequent, and then also therefore hard to find.
Yeah, it's not that many sea-doos and stuff running around, right?
Nope.
The stream,
And,
it's very,
and some of
very
them
rare.
are playing at his level and streaming, and like they'll average like 6 viewers.
Yeah.
And it just
Well,
goes to show you how the discoverability works, or doesn't work.
It comes down to also, if there's only 10,000 people that are online watching a stream, and a bunch of them are on, 1,000 are on Sea-Doo, and 1,000 are on Peekaboo, and another 1,000 are over, that pool dries up really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
True.
also how far do you expect someone to scroll down, right, to come see
Yeah.
it? So you've got your traditional fan base that follow your channel, that know you're on certain days of the week and times, that will come in because however some way they got introduced to you. But otherwise, how many users on the platform in the category, like you said, right? Because then it's even additionally segmented. Like you have, if you go to the World of Warcraft, like how many viewers are on the platform watching WoW content? How many actually scroll down, right? And how many streamers are there? And every month, right, there's new creators. The platform's getting bigger and bigger.
Okay.
Yes, there's more viewers coming, but discoverability continues to be a challenge. So I think you got to continue to find your way. Like esports can do that for some people, right? From notoriety purposes, like look what it did for Buka with Fortnite, right? Like his stream pops off because of that. I think there's other ways, right? I think you can be a content creator, like maybe from YouTube with VODs, and make this transition.
Yeah.
Maybe it's TikTok, right? Like maybe it's coming from a different medium. Building in a platform it's easier to get discovered, right? Like was because the platform has a higher shareability component to it. Like TikTok, very shareable. Twitter with retweets, very shareable. Facebook, very shareable.
Right.
Instagram, not shareable at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locked in.
Yeah, very locked in. So it's like being smart about that and being like, I'm going to go find my niche in a platform that works for my content medium, build an audience, and then trying to transition them over was something that you can do simultaneously.
But then also you have somebody that's brand new into this, and they see their favorite streamer and what they're doing, so then they just try to copycat it, and they can't, because they go do the Instagram thing, but that space is already getting saturated. They go and do the Twitch thing, but then the they're way down at the bottom again, and mom's watching, which is great, but or they go to Facebook and that runs a certain risk. So and if they're not putting the right labels on, if they're not titling it properly or everything else, it also reduces the searchability through the various search engines and discoverability again. So that it's almost like that comes back to what you guys at Method are doing, where you can provide some of that guidance if they just reach out to you, and you guys can say, okay, here you go, we'll make you a member, and with that, give some guidance and help them become more discoverable even that way and build their own brand.
Yeah, a lot of that, man, is also about the education, right? You got to do the work to learn, and it's not doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. It's okay.
Right.
I'm working on my craft every day. Like for me, like I wake up and I'm like, how am I going to get better today? What am I going to do? How am I going to improve? How am I going to improve my content? How do I listen to my audience? How am I going to optimize what I'm going to do? How can I growth hack this? Do I need to participate in Reddit posts? Do I need to join? Just like when I started streaming, I joined 15 Facebook streaming groups, and we were sharing with each other. And I was like posting my links. I would jump in their streams. I would engage with them. They would come by my streams, and I was doing that kind of hustle and bustle to interact with other creators. Right? I was on Reddit. I was in the Facebook groups. I was on Twitter. I was contacting my friends and my family. And the way that I viewed it, I was like, hey, if I started a new band and I was like, hey, I'm performing at this bar on Thursday night, will you come watch me perform? It's the same thing. Me on Twitch is the same thing in my mind. It's, hey, I'm on Twitch hanging out with my community. Just stop by. Just come by. And I was doing that kind of stuff. These little things like this, I would do. So I think I would continue to push people to learn, to get creative, to find your way to what works. Don't copycat just anybody. But yes, look and see what was worked for other people, but make it your own. Make it your own. Put your flair, be unique, be yourself, and just keep grinding, because it's also about having your moment. It's also that you don't know what will happen, right? That from just grinding for a year or 2 year, however long it is, and then something happens. Either it's a new game that drops and you're just like a beast at it, and you're like you're one of the first streamers of this new MMO, and because everybody else was set in their way, streaming, whatever game they're streaming, maybe it's WoW, and you were one of the first streaming this new MMO. You got a beta key because you were on top of a forum, and the game pops off, and you're one of the first creators. And now you're at the top of the list. So you just never know how things could go.
It's absolutely true.
That's one thing I love about this whole thing. Just all it takes is that one thing, and it's just like in life, right? If you're in the right place at the right time, boom, you get your shot. You get your shot.
Yeah, you're doing the work. You're doing the work. You're having the conversations. Look at us talking now. Like now we're going to build a relationship. We're talking. We're getting to know people. I've retweeted all your tweets and stuff like that, and there's some new people that have got some exposure to the brand, and which you're trying to build. So it's like you're here, just moved, man, and you're getting going with a wife and stuff, and you're still doing this, providing this for the community, and having conversations like these, which aren't just easy combos to have either. So it's I don't know, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of the somewhat popularized quote that good luck is when preparation and hard work meets opportunity, and that's so true. I feel like Gerissar, you have been the lifeblood of this podcast for a long time, and honestly, like this is in a lot of ways something that I can't believe we've been doing this for so long. So I mean, honestly, just like I'm gonna give my shout out to you. So, but I think that about wraps up our subjective analysis, though. But this was a wonderful conversation. Yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. Christian, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time so very much. I hope you had a good time, and everyone in chat, Christian Bishop, you can follow him on Twitter at Bishop Christian. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of cool things that he's going to be amplifying this thing on coming out of Method. So, Christian, is there anything else? Did you want to give us any other pimp out your Twitch? I don't know if you're still going to stream. So I mean,
no, Gerissar, no, I appreciate it, Andallyn. No, it's okay. Don't need to promote anything. Just want to thank you guys for taking the time to chat
Okay.
with me. I'm glad I got to chat with a few of you, including you, Queen of Murloc. What's up? Shout out to you, Sean. What's up, man? It's cool hanging out with you guys, your community, which you built here. So thanks for taking the time. I'll come back if you guys will have me in the future too.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Well,
guys.
and I'll look for you on the battlefield.
You don't want that, bro. You don't want that. Don't do it, man. Don't flag up.
He's Alliance, dude. You'll be
Alright.
fine.
Man.
What?
Take care.
Exactly. All right, guys.
Take care, bud.
I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Wow. What a conversation. Yes, indeed. All right. Wow, what a conversation. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
That was really good.
It's too bad he had to bounce, but that was
No
it's
worries.
understandable.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Gerissar, why don't we just kind of, break it down from here. We'll talk about some upcoming WoW PvP. Well, yeah. We didn't do the news first, so let's roll into the news. Does that sound good?
Let's do the news and we'll do the events.
Okay.
Change it up a little bit.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'll let you put the bumpers in. The bumpers are being strange. That's all right. So, roll into the PvP
gosh.
news. Take us in.
Hold on. Christian just left, dropping. He just gifted 5 subs.
Dude, Christian, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. He's a champion, man. He's a champion. Definitely a soldier, champion of the community.
Oh my gosh! Apparently, I didn't renew my sub yet, and he just gifted it to me.
You took one. This guy. Oh my gosh.
Well, I keep forgetting to do it with my podcast account, so it's. Oh, that's too fun! Oh my gosh, I'm a nerd.
Shameless.
I'm a nerd.
Absolutely shameless.
Oh my gosh.
That's okay. Awesome. So, take us into the PvP news here. Let's talk about this.
Okay, so on PvP news, sorry, I've got the giggles now. All right, so the qualifiers for the Blizzard Classic Fall Conquest happened. So that's their 15v for 15 Arathi Basin classic tournament they were running. So this is just the qualifiers. It's just a really fun time. The idea behind it is seeing who then moves on to the next stages, which are going to be the actual EU final and NA finals. So I want to give a shout out to Team Apes and Team Ready Raider, if that sounds familiar, for winning both the EU and the NA respectively. So kudos to them. And so that's going to put them in the first seeds for their respective regions for the actual cup. And we'll talk about that in the actual upcoming events.
Right. Okay. So I'll take the next one here.
Oh, you were okay. Go for it.
So, there's been a lot of really interesting news coming out lately with this new organization announcement, the One True King, otherwise known as the OTK. This is the newest org that's actually founded by no one else than your very own Asmongold, Tips Out, Mizkif, Rich Campbell, and S-Fan. That's right. So the 5 of them, the what would it be? The quintet. The Twitchful Gladiator Quintet. I can't speak. Yeah. So they've already actually signed what was previously known as Method Orange, who then became question mark. And I'm just so glad we don't have to say that name anymore.
Mystery org.
Yeah, mystery org. Yeah.
So I think this kind of goes back to making realization of things. So Method Orange had obviously the whole thing we just talked about. They split away, right? And so Sidu and the team, Sam, Mez, and Trill, they all walked away, and they were looking for an organization, and they said that they got picked up by somebody, but they never said who. And then they started being called question mark mystery org. And I thought at first that was just a joke. but then the circuit kept carrying on, and they were still. I'm like, no, like they got picked up. What's going on? So it actually, from looking at the news, OTK had actually picked them up, but I guess they were still working out some of the kinks to actually call themselves OTK. So Sea-Doo and the guys, they had actually said they admitted that they were being supported the whole time. So the whole time that they called themselves Mystery Org, they were actually OTK. They just couldn't call themselves OTK for whatever reason,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Like that's great. I am absolutely happy that's the case, because I was really getting scared that they had made some deal on some promise, and then the organization fluffed on them or something, and then they were left on their own.
Right.
That would just broke me.
Yeah, because I was, for a little while, I didn't even realize that, but I was surprised that some of these other organizations hadn't actually kind of like come into the WoW scene. Because, I mean, think about it. In the past 2 years, which is a lot of years when you're talking about the history of the AWC, even still, like that's a solid chunk. We've seen Cloud9 enter the space. We've seen before them, we've seen Splice, but we'll talk about the last 2 years. We've seen the Gosu crew came in here a little bit, which, they've bounced around to different things. But, and we've seen a lot of other organizations who have made staken their claim in a lot of other games. I mean, these are like much bigger, broader esports organizations. Gaming. Exactly. Wildcard. Yeah.
Phoenix, Wildcard. I mean, there were some big organizations out there that had some serious backing that came in. And yeah, I was really surprised, because I was expecting some of these organizations to come back, right? Well, obviously Splice isn't coming back ever again, but yeah. What was it? The thing is with this is I love it because it's got that grassroots feel. It's got the same feel that Method has, right?
Yeah.
It's people that we've spent a lot of time watching. We've hung out with on streams. The amount of knowledge. I mean, heck, actually we've hung out with Rich at BlizzCon, right? Like
he's such an interesting guy. I love him.
he's amazing.
Yeah,
the energy he has it just blows me out of the water.
It's an inspiration. It's also a little bit like, what am I watching sometimes? But it's an inspiration.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the other thing I was going to say is, speaking of hints at things, I wonder if part of the delay was Rich couldn't be in an organization and do his all his contractual agreements that he had for being a desk host. And I wonder if that's what happened.
Possibly, but Venruki and Zico could do it as Method, and they're now doing it as Cloud9. So I'm less inclined to think that, unless I don't know what the Call of Duty scene looks like for him. So it possibly could be it, because he was in Ukraine, right?
Yeah, he did COD and Dota before.
Right.
I just find it interesting that, because they were saying that they were at this like over 6 months getting this together.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Either way.
Absolutely.
Wow. So YouTube link is in the chat with the goofiest intro video. It is so funny. I absolutely love it.
These goobers, man.
Watch it at least 2-3 times. I'm sure you'll get a giggle out of it every time. A couple of things. So Ian Hazacostas took time from development to hit the Twitters again. And I love this one. In response to, what was it? There was I think it was a Wowhead tweet, which then somebody else commented talking about how you can still get one shot by these PvE trinkets.
Yeah.
Blizzard's not tuning them properly. Come on, Blizz, blah blah blah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I might be being a little over hyperbolic compared to what the person actually said. Anyways, Ian came back on his Twitter account and said, "Hey, just remember we're still doing tuning passes. We just haven't even touched these yet.
Yeah.
Just because people are one-shotting on the beta doesn't mean that's what it's going to be like in actual. Just chill. Be patient.
Mm-hmm.
We know. So just if anybody's seeing that and still concerned, just wait. It's beta. They know about it. I'm sure they've probably all felt it as they're running around and got nuked if they were running around with PvP flagged or whatever. But I just want to get that out there so people are aware. Hey, so you got to play today.
Yeah.
You actually logged in and got to play. How does it feel to play without corruption?
So I don't know. I was on there for 5 minutes. And really my experience was, whoa, intro scene, disconnected, what? And then log back in and be like, holy cow, I'm level 50. You know, so that's pretty much what it was. And I had to go create a new hunter because I have some really good friends who I used to work with very closely in Resurgent, and they harken back to the days they played with Vodka, like the Vodka Guild, Raiding Guild.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
And so I'm really excited. We're gonna play in a guild together, over on another realm, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm gonna create a character, and I'm also gonna try out the leveling experience. Apparently, you can get to max level in like 10, 13 hours. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that tonight. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I think what was it? I saw from the last video that our friend Des Mephisto.
Yeah.
He keeps doing all these leveling runs for them and testing it out. But for them, it's what he does for himself.
Yeah.
Because he loves to level. And yeah, I think he said it was 10 almost just short of 11 hours. Go to. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff.
So I had to go put my heirlooms on and then go sit in a rested experience, because you know how the new heirloom set bonus gives you all those bonus. Yeah. So essentially, I had to make sure that I got my dude getting just that little bit of rested experience for when we finished with the podcast.
That's a good point in case people haven't seen it yet or whatever. So in Shadowlands, the experience bonuses are gone off of the heirlooms. Now you have a bonus to the rested experience, which the way they've tuned the leveling process should be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow.
It's actually better because the like it's way easier to level a tune now, even without the XP bonus. And then when you add those rested XP perks, which it's essentially that rested XP is consumed 50% slower, and then it like stacks for a second time with your full set bonus. But I'm interested to kind of see how that will work. But yeah, and it should take a lot less time to level your tune to max level. So
indeed, awesome. So you're gonna level another hunter, eh? Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's fun. It's just fun to play, man. It's just fun to play. Like, I didn't know how I felt about Hunter when it was like, well, you gotta play Beast Mastery, and you know, and then it's like, but dude, just playing marksmanship is just really fun. I feel like the Tauren version of Legolas. You know, it's fun.
I just can't see a cow flipping around like that, though.
Dude, you seen these high mountain Tauren monks? What?
No,
dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Rolling ball of fur. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. Last item within the things that had happened. Flark held some more tournaments. Last of BFA, actually. So I want to give a congrats out to Cloud, Chillstreak, and Gretch. They won his last tournament, which was Sunday, actually, and earned $150. So
super cool.
Yeah, gosh, he is just killing that, and it's all community driven. I think, with the exception of the one that he had there with Wowhead, it's all like this $150 came from the community.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I managed to catch a few. I just watched like one one or two matches actually on his stream when I was passing by, and I was like, "Ooh, I really want to watch some of this." And so
It's
it
pretty
was
fun
really
to watch,
exciting.
actually.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. He kind of gives you a little bit of his commentary, and it's exciting. It's fun. It's a really good event. And I love how people like really enjoy being a part of it, and it's given a lot of people a lot of opportunities in the game. So
Oh yeah, and the interactions is just they're great in the chat.
Yeah.
I see somebody they come back out, they're like, "Oh, sorry guys, we tried really hard," in the chat, and it's like, "Oh, come on, like that was a great show."
yeah,
Sorry, there's one thing I just want to highlight. You're mentioning about Dez, and I want to end this one piece. It's not really PvP news, but I mean, Dez is a friend of the show. So so apparently so obviously Des Mephisto, the warrior leveling guy, he's been on news articles abound about him now, and he is a friend of the show, but he made a recent tweet, and I was a little dismayed by it. So right now his family kind of depends on him to do his streaming. That's the sole income that they have in the household, or pretty close to it. And I guess his computer has been slowly dying a slow death. So he put up a he put up a tweet which and he basically created a GoFundMe because his family didn't have the money to make a new computer or to build a new computer so that he could keep making money for the family. And I just want to just give a shout out to the community. He raised, I think he asked for $1,500 and he reached over 3,000 in less than 24.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I just
That's amazing.
Huge, it is. I love the community for that stuff.
Wow.
Almost swore there. It's so heartwarming. It's so heartwarming that to see people do that, and yeah, like I think it's like one person dropped like $600 on their own.
Wow, what a champion.
It's just I should check it out to see where whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, there's a link in the Discord, the Warcraft Radio Discord.
Mm-hmm.
You can go see the tweet, and if you want to give, I'm sure it's still open.
And that's awesome
Sure,
because we know, I mean, Gerissar, you and I know that Dez has touched a lot of people's lives, especially like with the content that he makes. So like the fact that that's not only supporting him, it's also supporting so many other people who like his content is going to support. So that's just a wonderful thing. And that's great to see. So
what's that? He's done so much for other people between helping people get their Jane amounts or get their Void Wings, and all the money he raised for autism.
The autism. Yep.
Oh my god. And raising the awareness, period. Like forget about the bucks, like just the exposure and what that does.
Yeah.
So just big love out to the community for that. But why don't we end on that for the news, and then we'll talk about the events, and then we'll roll out of this.
All right, I'll let you fill in that bumper.
All right.
Let's talk about the events.
Let's talk about the events. So, as always, Dalaran Gaming's been hosting his 5v5 1v1s. Been loving those. Flark's doing his 3v3s. The WoW Classic Fall Conquest Tournament. Blah, 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 blah. That's the Arathi Basin we were just talking about. So, the EU and the NA finals are going to be happening the 13th and the 17th and the 18th of October, respectively.
Yes, this weekend. Yep.
That's this weekend, and that is going to be the teams fighting over a $12,000 prize pool total, so 6,000 per region. Kudos to everybody who made it this far, and all the best of luck. May the best team win.
Yeah.
Did you see this one about Diabolus? What they did?
Yeah.
It blew me out of the water. I was so happy to see this.
I know. Looking super awesome.
Yes. So they're hosting, they call it the Death Bowl. So this is a 3v3 Shadowlands pre-patch tournament. It's going to be this month, primarily. So the idea is being a tiered 3v3 tournament, EU only, around £3,000 in a prize pool. So all of the signups are open on the 19th of October. They'll do offline qualifiers on the 26th of October. And the top 8 are going to live stream the 7th and 8th of November, right before
That's
Remembrance Day. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see people actually dying to abilities on screen and not just random damage from some corruption we can't see. That's what I look forward to.
That's right. Hey, you enjoy the small things, right?
It's all the small things.
That's right. It's all about the small things. So, speaking of things that are not exactly small but are also awesome, Oasis is actually going to be hosting a 2v2 tournament this Friday, the 13th.
Oh,
have we thought about this? Yikes.
Typo. Sorry. They
Sorry.
just delayed it today. They just announced
Sorry.
they delayed it. It was supposed to be this Friday. They delayed it. My bad.
Oh.
My bad.
Wait, today is the 13th. Oh, this is November. Oh.
Yeah, they were gonna do it this Friday, but then they
Right.
delayed it to
November.
Friday the 13th.
Okay. Yikes. Is that a Oasis? We want to rethink this one? I mean, I know like Halloween's coming up and all, but like maybe we need to walk it back just a little bit. Has anyone gotten cherry about this?
If I could make a Freddy Krueger transmog, I'd sign up.
Yeah.
Just for that.
Extra spooky, yes.
Exactly.
Alrighty. So yeah, check that out. We'll have the Battlefy link available for you guys in the show notes here.
Indeed.
So shout outs. Gerissar, what's your shout out? Dude, my shout out was to you, man. I'm not gonna give you another blank shout out, so my shout out was to you.
You're making me blush.
So,
okay, so shout outs.
Yeah.
Shout out. Shout out to the Warcraft radio crew once again. So above everything else they keep doing, just blows me away. They went ahead and made a bunch of Warcraft communities, in-game communities. So go and check it out. If you come over to the Warcraft Radio website, there's a communities page over there. They have links you can click on to get. And right there in chat, just as I say it. Thank you very much, mods. You guys are amazing. So go over to the warcraftradio.com/community. Links are going to be there, and you can join the in-game communities. And these are faction-based, right? And there's EU and NA available, and as well, I want to say, okay, I'm gonna botch this. I know it, but I know the Warcraft Radio team are looking for people to work on behind the scenes. They're looking for a production assistant. They're looking for some more people doing art.
Something need doing?
Pardon me?
I said something need doing?
Something is work.
Work.
Work. Oh, and video editing.
Yes.
I knew I was going to miss something. That was it. Yes, please. Actually, we need video editing. We need somebody to help me look pretty. Because, gosh, there's not enough effects.
Fill in some hair.
That Andallyn can do. It's just bad.
We can work on it. We can work on it.
Well, I think that's about it for me, really. Just the Warcraft Radio team and what they're doing there. But yes, go and sign up to those, and you will find us as well as the rest of the Warcraft Radio team inside of those communities, as well as a bunch of other like-minded individuals who just want to play and have fun. And if I'm not so right now I think we're building the community. I'm not going to set a date or time, but I'm looking at doing some random stuff, just random BG stuff in there, especially once Shadowlands drops. So we'll figure out some times on that later. But yes, please join that because we're going to be doing that work through those communities. So check it out. Okay.
Yep, and we maybe we'll try and get the Horde side rallied the base. So that maybe we may see you on the battlefield. So.
Oh yes. All right.
Alrighty.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
so be sure.
Andallyn,
Do we have links with? Okay, so sorry. Just going forward, if someone wants to go and watch this VOD over again, how can we find this community? We need to go to what? warcraftradio.com/community. Again, that's warcraftradio.com/community. Sounds good.
yes. And links are going to be in the show notes. Along with Andallyn. What are other links?
Sure. You can contact us directly with a tweet to @technically_PvP or by email to technicallypvp@gmail.com. You can also join our discussions on the Warcraft Radio Discord.
Indeed. And you can also visit the Warcraft Radio website, where you'll find the podcast directory with us and many great shows at warcraftradio.com/directory. Just don't forget, this is a new directory that also has a review system. Get your butts over there, give us a review, tell us what you think about us to help others find us. And hey, let us know what we're doing right and doing wrong. Please, please, please. Actually, yes, very much please. I think we only have 2 right now. The Girls Gone WoW is kicking our butt. Come on, folks. We know you listen. You're making us look bad.
Gerissar, why don't we read our favorite reviews each week?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we do that?
All
So
right, we'll do that
starting
next
next time, we will pick out our favorite review and give you a shout out. So
Get in there and write it so we can read it.
that's right. All right, that sounds good. Well,
Love it.
you want to sign
Good
us
night,
off?
everybody.
Okay. Sounds good, everyone. Thank you so much. Everyone have a good day and enjoy the pre-patch. It's
Yes.
BFA's gone, guys. Enjoy it. Go run, have fun, do all the things.